help people connect with their feelings, their emotions, and the pain. Any particular energy tools, or is it just that you almost like the thought processes and the words and the actual practice of it that makes it easier to feel the emotion?
It's kind of all of the above.
Yeah.
So let me back up and just say, because consistent with what you observe and you believe and what I do, the easiest way out of the pain and out of the stuckness is with the other than conscious mind rather than the conscious mind. So I have an array of tools, and what I support clients in doing is going into the depth rather than being up here in the thinking mind trying to solve it, because that isn't, in my view of the world, the conscious mind didn't create the pain or the problem that's creating the pain, nor does it hold the solution, because quite frankly, if it did, none of us would be in pain.
That's it. You know, if that was how it worked, we'd all be blissfully, joyfully happy, wouldn't we?
Yes,
yeah.
we would. Yes, we would.
You know, but it is quite challenging because, as you said, you know, earlier on, and it's so true, we are taught to live our lives through our conscious mind, through our thinking mind, through our thoughts, through our actions, through our doing. And that is sort of ingrained from a very early age, and it's ingrained in the educational system, in our health systems, in our beliefs, and in how we organize our lives often, you know. So what's the real challenge? Is it to get enough people to become aware of this other way of living?
Well, I certainly think that communal awareness that there are options is helpful. What I think, just through my little lens on the world, is that probably it's more like the dominoes are lining up to fall, one person's pain at a time, or one person's noticing their soul and spirit are knocking on the door and responding to that because for whatever reason they're beginning to feel like ignoring it isn't an option. I suspect that as a global community there will come a time when the collective consciousness has shifted to the point where we will no longer believe that the conscious mind is the be-all, end-all, and the place to go for solving our problems. We're not there yet. We're not there yet, for sure.
We're starting.
But we definitely are starting.
Yeah,
we definitely are starting.
On the path. Yeah. There's a lot more awareness, I've noticed. Just the very fact that we're on this show talking about this, and, you know, there are many, many people around the world who are doing similar sort of shows and having similar conversations is really encouraging. And, you know, it's almost like, I know that when I do yoga, I practice Kundalini yoga, and when we meditate and when we connect at that sort of deep inner level, that spiritual level, I know people in the street can feel it. I know people across the road can feel it, you know. It's just one of those things, you can feel it going out. So I believe that there is that energy, that cumulative energy, which is affecting everyone, and it is the ripples in the pond. You know, it'll go out further and further and further, and at some stage we'll reach that critical mass, and there'll be a shift. Whether it'll be 2012, whenever it will be, we'll see. But it's interesting times, is it not?
Oh, absolutely. And when you talked about you're convinced that people outside the yoga studio can feel the energy, what flashed into my mind was the research of Dr. David Hawkins in his book Power versus Force. And are you familiar with that? Have you talked about
I have
it
not
on
read
other
Power
programs?
versus Force, but I'm familiar with Dr. Hawkins. But explain, please, because the viewers are gonna love it.
Okay, well, his book is based on 20 years of clinical research, and David Hawkins is a psychiatrist and has a PhD. He did double-blind studies, and the results of his 20 years of research culminated in what he has created called a map of consciousness that calibrates the relative frequency of various emotional states. And on his scale, which is logarithmic rather than arithmetic, love has a frequency of 500. And he makes the statement that one person holding the frequency of love or higher counterbalances, in terms of planetary energy, 750,000 people who are vibrating down in levels of negativity. And I think that's extraordinary.
Amazing.
I find that very, very hopeful because it means that each of us, when we go into our meditative practices, when you are doing your Kundalini yoga and connecting with that energy, we are contributing to the upliftment of the planet, even if it's just for that one ripple. Even if, you know, we move into those higher, better feeling states, and as a collective we move back